Hello, everybody. I hope this finds you doing well today. We are going to be talking about the next chapter, and that is on students who are blind and or who have low vision. And I put a Bible verse up here just because there are so many different Bible verses that can go with any situation that's going on. But Isaiah 42:16 says, I will lead the blind by ways they have not known. Along unfamiliar paths I will guide them. I will turn the darkness into light before them and make the rough places smooth. These are the things I will do. I will not forsake them. And we have to go into education knowing that we're going to teach and mold the minds of all students. Many will have exceptionalities. Some will be blind and some will have low vision. And just knowing that going forward is huge. The next slide, I'm very sad that we don't get to do this, but I would have had two of you in class come up to the front, and one of you would have been lucky enough to be blindfolded. And then I would have placed some items out in front of you, and then you would have had to walk through the course by direction of the person leading you. And why I do this is because we talk a little bit about what it felt like to be the person who was blindfolded. We talk a little bit about what it was like to be the person trying to give directions. And then what I did is I would open it up to the class and just see what you noticed watching the two of them work together. And some common similarities between both groups is that both the blindfolded and the student giving the directions, they really had to trust each other. And students within your classroom, we have to build that trust relationship with them so that they are ready to learn and do what we ask of them. Another thing that generally comes out of this simulation is that you have to be very clear and concise with your directions, specifically when working with somebody who has low vision or who is blind. But this also goes for everybody, right? We talk a lot about giving clear directions and having students be able to understand what you're asking of them is what's needed by all students, not just students who are blind or have low vision. So that's a simulation that I would have generally done with you in the class, and it was very fun. It's fun to watch just to see the directions that are given by students in general. So there are some facts of students who are blind or who have low vision. According to the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, in 2015, 285 million people were estimated to be visually impaired in the world, and 39 million people were blind. 246 had low vision, which was caused by uncorrected refractive errors. That is alarming to me. When you think generally about if you know anybody who that you might be aware of that's blind or has low vision, I can think of only a couple of people in my 34 years of life who I've known that were either blind or who had a visual impairment or who struggled visually. Legal blindness is when an eye doctor tells you you have 20 over 200. So a person who has 20 over 200 vision can see at 20 feet what a normal sighted person can see at 200 feet. 20/20 vision is considered to be perfect. Many of us wear glasses. Some of us have just gotten glasses and are struggling to wear them every day, aka your professor. However, glasses and we have come just in general we've come so far with things that can assist us ourselves and our students. So that's just a quick fact about legal blindness and what legal blindness actually is. So it's that 20 over 200 vision. A student who is blind receives no useful information through the sense of vision. Rather, they use their ears. They can hear everything, it seems like, because that's what they've leaned on for so long. And then they're very touchy-feely, okay? So providing activities for them within the classroom is amazing for them because they are able to manipulate and be able to truly participate in what you're discussing in the class. Oftentimes we talk and describe things about what we see, and this is very hard when you are working with somebody who is blind or who has low vision. You have to be very cognizant of what you're using to describe what the activity is. A child who's functionally blind, same as above, however, can use limited vision to supplement certain tasks that they do. So it's just amazing different facts that there are about students who are visually impaired or who have low vision. I would like you to click on it. This is Meet Mason right here. And there's a website that you can go to. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to watch this video, and then your forum post will be on these two questions. What did you notice about Mason and his support system? And what assistive technology will Mason need in the future to successfully transition into adulthood? So if you click right up here where it says Meet Mason, that'll take you to a website, and that's what you'll have to do after you're done listening to this discussion, and then go to the forum post, and those are the two questions that you'll answer within the forum post. Please comment on one other peer's post, and that will get great discussion going. There are some instructional strategies that you can use when you are working with your students in your classroom, and if you have all of a sudden a student who has low vision and who is blind. There are 3 on this page that I find to be very important and pertinent to students who have this low vision and or who are blind. You have to teach in thematic units, okay? It helps students in general to make connections between and among topics that are being discussed, but it also helps to expand the vocabulary, the background knowledge, the concepts, the key concepts that need to be taken away from, and skills beyond those which can be experienced incidentally in daily routines or in isolation. Okay, so making sure that all of your lessons are themed together is very important for students who have low vision and or who are blind. Assistive technology is also huge, and that is kind of where number 2 comes in. It says iPads as instructional tools. There are so many different sources of assistive technology that are out there, but iPads are amazing. There are so many apps that teachers can use to assist students who struggle visually in their classroom. So just know that iPads are huge, and I hope whatever district you choose to teach in, they have those eventually. The ECC, which is Expanded Core Curriculum, has printables, and on this website and this group, they include everything in these thematic units, which is fantastic. Kids use Braille. They use alphabet picture cards. They're fantastic. Okay, so really look into using the ECC curriculum. And if your district doesn't have it and you eventually have a student who is blind or visually impaired, please reach out and ask them for this curriculum. There are different characteristics of students who are visually impaired and or who are blind. Sometimes they have delays in motor development, and that's just because they're unable to see what is going on. So they have to physically be taught, how to grab onto things and really use those tactile motor functions. Because they haven't been able to see what their body looks like, you have to guide them hand over hand. Some students will experience social isolation or difficulty connecting, just as our students that we talked about this last week who are deaf and hard of hearing. They too feel like they are isolated a lot, which is normal. If you think about taking all of a sudden something away from you that you've been so used to using, you might feel alone too. Students with severe visual impairments, they do not benefit from incidental learning. And incidental learning are are those tasks that all of a sudden just come up and you are flexible enough to teach on what's going on, they really struggle with that. So like, I'm trying to give you an example. So Tyus the other day, we were walking and all of a sudden he tripped and he looked down and I said, "Why do you think you tripped?" And he said, "Well, my shoe's untied." And so I said, "Well, let's learn how to tie your shoe." He of course is 4, so he can't tie his shoe completely by himself yet, but that was an incidental learning moment for him. And students who are blind or visually impaired really need to have that strategic instruction, and instruction that is laid out in sequential order for them. Another characteristic is 2 out of every 1,000 school-age children actually have low visual incidence, which is huge to me. That's a huge number. I know it doesn't seem like it's very much, but that's a lot of kids who struggle visually. We're almost done, and then do not forget to go back and watch Meet Mason and answer those 2 questions. But these are some different resources out there. There's the American Printing House for the Blind, American Council for the Blind, Foundation for the Blind, and then the last one is fantastic. Google has so many different apps out there for so many different types of disabilities that we come across now. It is phenomenal. Many of them are free, some are not, but if you check out that website, they have so many different read and write Google extensions that kids can put on computer screens, or even maybe you have one laptop within your classroom setting and you're able to download these extensions. They're phenomenal. And like I said, a majority of them are free. So that's fantastic. This last page just talks about social etiquette suggestions for when you're interacting with somebody who is blind and or visually impaired. Sometimes we have to teach the kids in our classroom how to be socially etiquette with these students. And it's not that they do it to be rude, they just haven't been taught. And so we have to teach our students. And in different classroom settings that I've been in, some parents have actually come in and talked to the class where their student was going to be in, and they were very open to share some experiences and maybe what the other students might see, and then ask students if they have any questions. And it has been life-changing for that teacher, whoever the teacher is for that year, but also for all of the students, because they're able to ask questions in a way that they can feel comfortable and not feel like they're being rude, because parents are prepared for that. Not all parents will want to come in and have a discussion with your class, but you can also ask the families and just say, "Hey, would you care if I read a book?" Just to let all the other students, kind of be aware of what's going on and maybe what they can look for and how to help support your child so that they can feel like a part of our community. The second page is how to make an enlarged copy on the copier. This page I wish I would have had when I was in school, but it's fantastic what the basic things that we have in our school settings can do for us. So this is just different steps on how to manipulate the copy machine in order to enlarge the text on or from just a normal document that you're copying. It can enlarge the print screen. So that is the nitty-gritty on students who have visual or low impairment or who are blind within your classroom setting. Your book has many other details in it in regards to students who are visually blind or low visual impaired. Please read this chapter. It's chapter 10 within your book. Please read it over so that you have a better understanding of it. Don't forget to for sure read the final summaries. And then now after you're done listening to this, you need to go watch the Meet Mason, which is up here. Again, it's on slide number 6. Click on this right here, go to Meet Mason, watch the video, and then within your forum post, you're going to answer these 2 questions. And then don't forget to respond to one of your peers. Take care, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all on WebEx on Monday.